like and subscribe, and leave a comment below. Rise of the Dragon Princess, a tale of revenge. Princess B.N.Rocker crept through the silent halls. She had to reach her father, to warn him of the danger that lurked within these walls. But it was too late. She turned a corner and froze. There, slumped on the throne, was her father, the king, lifeless, and standing over him with a bloody dagger in hand was her stepmother, Queen Morwenna. "Ilara, run!" The voice of Sir Alistair, the king's most loyal guard, broke through her shock. He grabbed her arm and pulled her away just as the queen's guards burst into the room, their swords drawn. As they fled through the winding corridors, Alistair whispered urgently, "We must leave the castle, Your Highness. There is no time to lose." The castle walls echoed with the sound of pursuing footsteps. Ilara's mind raced, filled with fear and confusion. Her father was dead, murdered by the very woman he had trusted, and now she was a fugitive in her own home. Slipping through secret passageways, they reached a small chamber. There, hidden in an extravagant chest of gold, lay the last dragon egg, a treasure the king had kept secret from the kingdom and his treacherous wife. Only his most trusted guard, Sir Alistair, knew of its existence. Inside lay a dragon egg, the last of its kind. "This is our hope, Ilara," he said, pressing the egg into her hands. "We must protect it at all costs." Under the cover of darkness, they escaped the castle and made their way to a secluded monastery high in the mountains. The monks, guardians of ancient wisdom, took them in and vowed to keep their secret safe. Ilara trained day and night, honing her skills in combat, strategy, and the ancient art of war. Years passed, and one fateful morning, the dragon egg hatched. A magnificent dragon emerged. Ilara named him Justice, and from the moment their eyes met, he imprinted on her, creating a lifelong bond. The monks taught them the lost art of dragon riding, a symbiotic dance of grace and power. With each passing day, Ilara and Justice grew stronger, their connection deepening. They trained tirelessly, soaring through the skies and mastering the art of aerial combat. The monks' whispers turned them into legends, talked about in the valleys below. The day of reckoning arrived. Ilara, now a fierce warrior, descended from the mountains with Justice at her side. She rallied an army of the oppressed, common folk armed with pitchforks and simple weapons, driven by their thirst for freedom. King Varric, Morwenna's new husband, a puppet king if there ever was one, stood atop the castle walls, his lips curling in disdain. "A pathetic peasant army," he scoffed. "Even outnumbered, my cavalry will crush them." A sentinel cried out from the tower, "Dragon!" Panic spread like wildfire among his troops as Justice swooped down from the heavens, breathing streams of fiery destruction. The elite cavalry, once fearless, turned to ash within moments, their screams silenced by the dragon's wrath. Justice stood between the peasant army and the king's elite knights, Ilara's voice ringing out. "Bow before your rightful queen," she screamed, her words echoing through the castle grounds. The air was thick with the scent of smoke and charred earth, remnants of the cavalry that had been vaporized in mere seconds by Justice's fiery breath. The once proud knights, with their polished armor now tarnished and smeared with ash, stared in horror at the smoldering remains of their comrades. The ground beneath them trembled as Justice let out another deafening roar, with his eyes glowing with fierce determination. One by one, the knights dropped to their knees, their swords clattering to the ground in surrender. Heads bowed in reverence, they acknowledged the true queen, their hearts filled with fear at the sight of Ilara and her mighty dragon, with shouts of "Long live the Dragon Queen!" piercing the smoky air. The peasants cheered as Varric's forces fell to their knees, surrendering in the face of overwhelming power. King Varric, consumed by rage, bellowed from the battlements, "Cowards!" and fled to his chambers, leaving his men to their fate. Ilara dismounted in the castle courtyard, her hand resting gently on Justice's snout. "Well done, my friend," she whispered. The dragon rumbled a contented purr, with his eyes gleaming with pride. With her sword drawn, Alara stormed into the castle, her heart pounding with righteous fury. As she ascended the grand staircase, the memory of her father's gentle smile fueled her inner fire. As she entered the queen's chamber, Alara saw Morwenna vanish in a swirling black cloud. Determined to find the king, she turned and rushed down the corridor, her heart pounding with true intent. She found Varric cowering in the throne room, his eyes wide with terror. "For my father!" Alara roared, with her voice echoing through the stone halls. Hearing her cry, Justice let out a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the castle, a sound of impending doom. Varric's pleas for mercy fell on deaf ears. Alara's blade struck true, and with a single swift motion, she avenged her father's death. As Varric's lifeless body slumped to the floor, Alara knew her stepmother was still out there, but this felt like the first step, lifting her spirits. Stepping out onto the balcony, she looked down at the people gathered below. Holding up the crown, the crowd erupted in cheers, their hope rekindled by the sight of their rightful queen. Alara knew that the road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but with justice by her side and the love of her people, she was ready to restore the kingdom to its former glory. Together, they would build a future where peace and justice reigned supreme, and the legacy of her father would live on forever. "Tomorrow, we begin rebuilding," Alara said, her voice filled with determination. "We will honor my father's memory by creating a kingdom where everyone is free and safe." Justice rumbled in agreement. Together, they had faced unimaginable challenges and emerged victorious. The bond they shared was unbreakable, a testament to the strength and courage that had carried them through their darkest days. As night fell, Alara stood in the courtyard, the cool breeze ruffling her hair. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, feeling a sense of peace and fulfillment. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had shaped her into the leader she was destined to be. "Good night, old friend," she whispered, patting the dragon's head. "Tomorrow, we start a new chapter." The dragon let out a gentle roar, a promise of the adventures yet to come. Alara smiled, her heart filled with hope and anticipation. The future was bright, and with justice by her side, she knew that anything was possible. The kingdom was safe for now. The people were free. Alara's story was one of bravery, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between a princess and her dragon. And as the stars twinkled in the night sky, she knew that her father was watching over her, proud of the warrior she had become. This is not goodbye, nor the end. Until the story continues, my friends. B.N.Rocker.